Well, it's that time in the evening when the camera does look like this. But I am going to be doing my World Cup predictions. And for this, I will be going through every game. I'll see how long this will be, because otherwise I might have to split into other videos. However, this is what I'm going to go with. And I'll go through each score game in the groups and knockout rounds and say the table and show over the tables. So let's go into it. So Group A, consisting of Russia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Uruguay. Now, earlier I did a take, and I think I went a bit too long on some of the teams. So let's just go with the score predictions. First game, Russia vs Saudi Arabia. Both sides the lowest two ranked teams in the tournament. I think Saudi Arabia have been underestimated. They scored so many goals. They scored so many goals in qualifying, and they even had a player who was just shy off Lewandowski in top scorers in the entire World Cup qualifying campaign. Now you could argue that it was against weaker opponents, but they also qualified along with Japan and Australia, so it's not too much of a step. But even so, I'm going to say Russia 2, Saudi Arabia 0. Russia will get off to a good start for this game. Next game, Egypt versus Uruguay. Now, even though they're higher up in the rankings, I don't think they're going to control the group at all. I'm going to say for this one, Egypt 1, Uruguay 3. Uruguay, I'll just give a bit of a spoiler. I think they'll top the group, but among two others, I don't think they've. I think they've sort of weakened, and they'll probably in this group they'll probably get a defeat, but that's to talk about in a bit. In fact, no wait, yes, Russia versus Egypt. I'm gonna say 1-1. I think maybe Egypt. Mohamed Salah will probably he'll probably gain his fitness through the second half of the group. Probably come on against Russia and then make a difference. And then Uruguay versus Saudi Arabia. Now I am going to go with a massive shock. Now I've said how good Saudi Arabia have been and why they shouldn't be underestimated. I'm going to go 2-0 Saudi Arabia against probably the strongest team in this group. Yeah, surprising. And now on to the crucial moments where anyone can go through at this point. Here, I'm going to say Russia. No, Russia. They play Uruguay, and I think it will be a 2-0 win for Uruguay, which will see Uruguay be top. And that is also because I think Egypt, by then Mohamed Salah will have gained his strength. By then, Egypt can work to the height of their powers, and I think they'll end Saudi Arabia's dream by defeating them by 3-1. Now, I'm going to put the table up what I think, how my predictions have matched out. Group B, Portugal, Spain, Morocco, Iran. Game 1, for all the marbles, for who qualifies for groups. I'm going to say Portugal 2, Spain 1. Most people say Spain will be topping this group, but I think still think it'll be Portugal, even with the departure of Spain's manager. Next game, Morocco versus Iran. I'm going to go 0-0. Morocco didn't concede a goal in qualifying, and again you may argue the quality of the opponents, but they also had Ivory Coast, who are one of the most successful African sides. As well as that, at Iran, Carlos Queiroz, very defence-minded. When Portugal played in the World Cup 8 years ago, they only conceded one, and that was knockout for Spain. And then 4 years ago, when he managed Iran, he got a boring nil, one of the boringest games I'd ever seen, when Iran drew 0-0 with Nigeria. They then kept Argentina out for until somewhere 86 minutes in, when Messi got a late goal. And then, even though they did lose to a very attacking Bosnia, they sort of had to win that. Iran kind of had to go out of their defensive shell and win, because they were in a difficult position. So, but anyway, Portugal against Morocco. I don't think throughout this group, I don't think there'll be too much goals, because two sides are very defensive and two sides have excellent goalkeepers. For this one, I'll go Portugal 1, Morocco 0. Probably a Ronaldo header to maybe differentiate these sides. Iran vs Spain, 2-0 Spain. And then for this one, I'm going to go for a kind of a weird shock. I'm going to go Spain 1, Morocco 1. And that will probably come down from a own goal from Spain. And then Iran 1, Portugal 1. And let's see how my score predictions rank the table. Next group, you got France, Australia, and Peru, and Denmark. Game 1, France. I'll say France 3, Australia 1. France, one of the best sides I think in this tournament. And conceding wise, I think they'll barely have a problem until the semi-finals. But I think this game will probably be an exception, where Australia might score from a corner. But France had Griezmann, Mbappe, even though he's got a bit of an injury. They've got some very, very strong players, very attacking, great going forward. Peru vs Denmark. Now, out of all these teams, Peru is the team I've got the least knowledge about. But even though I'm aware that they're sort of good, I'll say Denmark will win 3-1. I think Christian Eriksen will have a massive hand in putting Denmark forward in this tournament. I think he'll get an assist, score, and play a part in the third goal. And then next set of games, France versus Peru. Initially, I had France winning 5-0, but I thought I then realised it's probably very harsh. Even when I discovered Peru have because of quite good. But I'm still going to say France will win for this game 3-0. And now Denmark versus Australia. I did used to say 2-2, but now I'm struggling between 2-2 or 1-1. Time is against me, so I'll say no. I think I'll go 1-1. And now Denmark versus France. This, I think, will for France, they're going to have less of they'll probably be restricted a bit more. They'll even, as well as the fact they're already through, I think Denmark will probably slow them down a bit. But having said that, I think it will still be 1-0 to France. And then Australia versus Peru. I have predicted Peru to win earlier, but still unsure of what they're going to be like. Predicting them to be about similar levels to Australia. So I'm going to go 1-1. The next group, the group of death. I even had to take it back from Group P because this could go either way. Argentina, Iceland, Croatia, and Nigeria. Argentina. I don't think they've got some amazing strikers, but I think their defense is very shoddy. So I wouldn't even be surprised if they fail to qualify into the next round. But I think against Iceland, they're going to have some high hopes for this tournament. I will be very excited to play Argentina. But I'm going to go 4-2 to Argentina. I think this will be the game where Argentina will probably have fun in scoring. Messi, Dybala, Aguero, Higuain. I think Iceland, again, they've got a really poor defence. They've including bottling a 2-goal lead to concede 4 against Nigeria, they will be playing soon, and Spain scored 6 against Argentina. I think Iceland will probably find ways to score. Croatia versus Nigeria. Now first I was thinking 2-2, then I'm thinking Croatia have grown as a side. They sort of took that back because I thought still think Croatia are very good. And despite the initial 2-0, the 2-0 score I thought afterwards, I think it's sort of narrowed it down to 2-1 to Croatia. Next game, Argentina versus Croatia. I think this is going to be very good. I probably should be predicting Croatia to get a lot of goals, but I'm going to say 3-1 Argentina. I'm a bit surprised with that prediction, but I'm still standing by that. Iceland versus Nigeria. This one I'm going to say 0-0. And then you've got Nigeria versus Argentina. Again, this is I mentioned Uruguay, how I think they've weakened, and I don't think they'll do great this tournament. Argentina is the other another one of the teams where I don't think they'll do as great as they're expected to do. This is where I think they'll lose to Nigeria. I think they'll beat Argentina again by 2 goals, 3-1. Even though that still means Argentina top the group. And Iceland versus Croatia, even though Iceland have beaten Croatia, are in topping the qualifying group that they were in, and even though I personally think Croatia are a much better side, well, not much better, but I personally prefer Croatia as a team. But I think it's going to be 1-1. Now, initially, when this group was drawn, which has Brazil, Switzerland, Costa Rica, and Serbia, I thought this is the group of death. But Brazil are clear front runners in this group. When I first been predicting these games, I thought Brazil will probably just win by the odd goal. But this first one, Brazil versus Switzerland, I'll put it up to Brazil winning 2-0. Costa Rica versus Serbia. I'm thinking Serbia will go 2 goals down, and then they'll get 2 back to salvage a 2-2 draw. Next, Brazil vs Costa Rica. Keylor Navas, even though he didn't have a perfect game against England, I think he's still a highly rated keeper, and I think he might do enough. And Costa Rica are a very defensive side. Played 5. I was about to say they played 5 at the back of the wall. Yes, they did, but recently they've been playing back 3. But that might have just been a one-off against England. But they're still very defensive. I'll just say 1-0 Brazil for this time. And then Serbia versus Switzerland. Serbia, one of the probably the best fourth pot team in here. Very strong. And a lot of people have them to be joining Brazil. Here, I think though, at first I was maybe thinking 3-1 Switzerland, but with each team's strength, I'll go 2-1 Switzerland, because I do think Switzerland are very good, and I think they've gone a bit under the radar for some reason. Now, you've got Serbia versus Brazil. I've changed my mind a few times, thought of a few different scores, but here I go Serbia 1, Brazil 1, and Switzerland versus Costa Rica. I'm gonna go 0-0 because they're both evenly matched, but I think Switzerland do better going forward and Costa Rica do better defensively. So normally that would probably amount to a 1-1 draw, but I'm going to say 0-0. Next, Group F. Germany, Mexico, Sweden, South Korea. Now it's quite clear who for the first place team's going to be, even though they've had a poor run of results quite recently. But what's interesting is the competition for second place. Firstly, I'm going to go Germany. In the first game, Germany versus Mexico, I'm going to go 3-1 to Germany. I think even though Mexico have a good goalkeeper, I think they might still have quite a hard time keeping Germany out. Next, Sweden versus South Korea. Two very good teams. Even means that one could go either way. Again, I sort of took back my 2-2 draw. I think 1-1 is probably the right result. South Korea versus Mexico. Another South Korea game where I changed my mind on. In fact, I did them with all three, let's say. I'm going to say South Korea 1, Mexico 2. And that's probably going to be the important result. Now here, I'm going to say Germany 1, Sweden 1. Against it's sort of like England at Euro 2016, even though they only came away with 5 points and finished runners up. But what people were predicting was England's probably going to be top, but they're going to draw one of these games. In fact, they drew 2 of their games. But same applies with Germany here. And now a massive game where South Korea need to win. Sweden have to win as well. I'm going to say Mexico 0, Sweden 0. You're going to come to a point where Ochoa was going to get the clean sheet he deserves, and I think Sweden might keep out a team somewhere. And even though Hernandez is brilliant with headers, I think this. I can say 0-0. This doesn't need analysing. And then Germany versus South Korea. This is going to be a game where if Germany are through, they'll probably just win 2-0. But if they are under pressure, they'll probably go 3-0. So my table will hint what I predicted. So England's group, Group G, along with Belgium, Panama and Tunisia. Game 1, Belgium versus Panama, sorry. I think it'll be Belgium 3, Panama 1. I think Belgium will be much too strong for Panama, even though Panama seemed like a good side. And they actually were declared a national holiday for all what happened. It was either them or Peru. I think it was Panama. But also you've got, I think they'll probably, anyway, I think but even though they've probably haven't got a right to score against Belgium and their great defenders and Thibaut Courtois, I think Panama could probably nick a goal from 90 plus 6 minute with Gabriel or Roman Torres, something like that. Next game, Tunisia versus England. I'm thinking Tunisia 1, England 2. It won't be easy for England, but at the same time, it won't be easy for Tunisia. I think Kane will get the first goal, probably Lingard the second, and then Wabi Cazieri will score. Next game, Belgium versus Tunisia. Even though I think Tunisia are a better side than Panama, I think Belgium will go one better and win that game 3-0. Next England game, I think will be England 0, Panama 0. Could have been worse. I think Panama probably can defend well enough to keep England out. I don't think Panama will be too threatening going forward, but you never know. They could pull out a world memorable result on Panama's history books with a howler from Jordan Pickford if he plays. It's too early for him to be playing for England, and I'd say Nick Pope as well. But anyway, on to the other game, England versus Belgium, the two clear favourites. And I think it'll be England 1, Belgium 1. I probably been thinking Adam Lallana would score, or maybe like some sort of turn or a penalty. But he's almost unlikely not to be playing. But from maybe Vardy will score, but I'll say 1-1. England. I think England will get the first goal. But I think with this, it's even if England and Belgium match in terms of wins, I think Belgium will do a much better job at killing Belgium and Tunisia and Panama off. And then, speaking of the two teams, I'll say Panama 0, Tunisia 1. I won't go too much into that. Well, the light is finally on, having done a few failed takes with the light off. I know it looks a bit more like the first thing I shot. But Group H, we've got Poland, Senegal, Colombia, Japan. Game 1, Poland vs Senegal. I'm going to say Poland 2, Senegal 0. Both got some good attacking options. I think where Poland, Robert Lewandowski, top scorer in qualifying, and I think he's going to get on this clean sheet. Maybe Milik will get the other goal. I think where these two sides differ is their goalkeepers. Fabianski and Szczesny, you could go either one of them. Personally, I prefer Szczesny, but I think they're more likely to keep out these attacking players rather than who Senegal's goalkeeper is, even though I don't know too much about him. But on to the next one, we've got Colombia versus Japan. Colombia, this is the third team where I'm thinking South American team. I'm thinking they've dropped. Even though I think they will top like Uruguay and Argentina have. I think they've dropped since the last World Cup. But for this, I'm going to say I don't think they'll do that great. But I'll say Colombia 3, Japan 1. Going off the back at seeing well, funny enough, Japan played Colombia and lost 4-1. Next game, Poland versus Colombia. They've got good keepers and some very good strikers. I'm going to say 1-1. Japan versus Senegal. I'll say 1-1. Both sides got some good players. You might give the slight edge to Senegal, but but either way, it could go either way. And now, next game, you got Senegal. Oh, yeah, I'll go. Yeah, it's Senegal versus Colombia. I'm gonna go 2-2. I think this will be where, even though they're coming up against David Ospina, who I think is good, despite often being second fiddle at Arsenal. I think Senegal's attacking player will hit their stride and probably battle to keep themselves in the tournament. Now Colombia also got some good at attacking options, so I'll say 2-2. Japan versus Poland. This might be a bit. This will probably be again. I don't need to repeat myself. It'll evenly match. I say 1-1. And overall, I think Colombia, even though I think they'll only go through by goals scored, and that seems weird, seeing as they're edging out a team who has Robert Lewandowski. This video has gone long enough, so all I can say is, what are your predictions? Do you agree with my predictions? Why are my predictions wrong? Well, not that, but just leave your thoughts, and I'm gonna do a England World Cup video up next, but this one was much more urgent to get out, so I'm gonna stop rolling now.